Hey guys, welcome back to Bobcat Corner Live. This is Stephen Vitt reporting, and I'm going to just go through the game that took place between the Ohio Bobcats and the Miami of Ohio Redhawks. And as you guys can tell, this game did not go exactly according to plan for the Bobcats for a multitude of reasons. And the final score is 30-20, Miami of Ohio. They win the Battle of the Bricks this year. And first things first, I just want to get this out of the way. I don't think this was the worst loss that the Bobcats have had this year. I don't think so. I think this is, yeah, definitely something that hurts. Don't get me wrong, it's something that hurts, but I don't think this is our worst loss this year. If I can be honest about it. Still, that game against Kentucky, that game I just could not stand whatsoever. That game. So no, we could have done a lot worse. Let me just put it that way. But yeah, 30-20, Miami of Ohio wins the game. The final score was a 10-point deficit, but it wasn't really that close. If you were paying attention watching this game, it was not that close. It never really was that close. 10 points, it felt more like at least a 20-point game throughout the entire 60 minutes of this matchup. So yeah, I'm going to provide a link to the box score of this game, as I always do, down below in the description. And honestly, guys, I'm not going to be reading off any stats that the Ohio Bobcats players had because just really, when you look at the stats, they don't really jump out. I'm just going to be honest; they don't really jump out. And big part of that, you have to give credit to. You have to give credit to Miami of Ohio for what they did on defense. Redhawks showed up; they came to play, and this was what I was trying to refer to back at episode 27 of Bobcat Corner, the regular Bobcat Corner. That no matter how much they're struggling, no matter how good or bad the Miami Redhawks are doing in the course of a year, they always get up for this game, and I meant that. Miami Redhawks, they always get up for this game somehow, some way, and it manifested itself again here in this edition of the Battle of the Bricks. So I want to get off the stats real fast for the Redhawks. Their players, I mentioned them in Bobcat Corner episode 27. Let's start with Brett Gabbert, the quarterback. Mentioned him quite a bit before. In this game, he completed 14 of 21 passes for 178 yards and 3 touchdown passes. So obviously, Brett Gabbert had more than enough time to do his thing, to make the right reads, make the right throws, and everything was on point for Brett Gabbert in this game, just as you would expect from a guy like him. So there you go with that. And the running game, I've noticed this for a couple games now for the Bobcats on defense. The run defense has been, giving up certain plays to opposing running backs. I saw it quite a bit last week in the Central Michigan game, and I saw it once again here in this game against Miami of Ohio. The run defense for the Bobcats uh, starting to become an issue. I'm just going to be honest. It's starting to become an issue for the Bobcats, the run defense. When we do give up big plays against running backs, we just give up big plays. The holes, they just get created. And for example, a 5-yard run becomes a 10-yard run, or a 10-yard run becomes a 20-yard run. And it just kind of snowballs like that. I'm not saying it happens a lot, but when it does, it really hurts us. And the timing of it is really, it gets really awkward. Let me just say it that way. Keon Mosey, that's the main running back for the Miami Redhawks. He had a good day. 16 rushes for 111 yards, 1 touchdown on the ground. And as for wide receivers, Redhawks wide receivers had a great day overall, collectively as a unit. But I'm just going to mention one guy, for the Redhawks, the wide receiver room here. Uh, what's his name? Cade McDonald, wide receiver Cade McDonald. He had 5 receptions for 84 yards and 1 touchdown reception. So, yeah, it was really a collective effort on the part of the Redhawks on offense today. This game was definitely a Miami Redhawks kind of game. Just going to put it out there. I'm not going to sugarcoat it. Uh, at no point did it look like that the Bobcats were going to just storm right back. Did not feel that way at all. And I'm going to get to a couple points in summary here as to why I felt like this game was over early in many aspects. But anyway, let's go through the game quarter by quarter here. First quarter, with 6 minutes 46 seconds to go, kicker Dom Joban, hope I'm saying his last name right. Kicker Dom Joban, he kicked a 28-yard field goal to get it started for Miami of Ohio, 3-0, and go to second quarter. 8 minutes 22 seconds to go in the second quarter. Brett Gabbert, this is where he gets started here. He had a 14-yard touchdown pass to wide receiver Reggie Virgil, who also had a good game overall. That made it 10-0 Miami of Ohio. And that play that I just mentioned, it came right after honestly a boneheaded penalty committed by the Ohio defense. It was like a personal foul penalty. If the Bobcats did not commit that penalty, it could have changed the scoring there. It could have been 6-0 instead of 10-0 Miami of Ohio, but it is what it is. And later on, the second quarter, Parker Navarro, who started the game for the Bobcats, Parker Navarro, he threw a devastating interception. He was rushed. He was under pressure from the Miami defense. He threw an interception. And give credit again to defensive back Rayon Strader for Miami, Ohio. He in one part of it, Rayon Strader, he did jump the route on that interception. He did time it right. He got the interception, so credit to him. That's part of it. But I think another part of it was just that Parker Navarro forced it. I think he really forced that throw. He was under pressure and he wasn't taking into account that someone like Strader was just going to come in and jump the route. And as a quarterback, even if you're under pressure, you got to have a little bit of awareness when you're going to make such throws. And so that was kind of, that was kind of disheartening in a little sense there. And because basically the first half of this ball game clearly was all Miami of Ohio. The momentum dictating the pace of the game. It was Miami all day. Definitely the first half. And so with 19 seconds to go in the second quarter, right before halftime, this was another considerable blow against us. 8-yard touchdown pass from Brett Gabbert to Javon Tracy. That made it 16-0 Miami of Ohio. They missed the extra point kick, but still 16-0. You're up by 2 scores with 2 touchdowns, 2 point conversions in theory. But really, momentum, even though it was a 16-point game, momentum was clearly on Miami of Ohio's side. I don't know how else to say it. It was just one of those things. And, third quarter, we get into the third quarter. If I can be honest here, the Bobcats, they did try to pick up the slack a little bit in the second half. I could tell they were more awake in the second half than they were in the first half. I'm only saying a little bit. They were not drastically more awake, just a little bit more awake. Third quarter, 7 minutes 25 seconds to go. Anthony Tyus the third, he did get in a 1-yard touchdown run, punched it in to make it 16-6 Miami because he tried to go for 2 points. 2-point conversion failed. So that was a good 15 play, 75-yard drive there. Cap it off with that 1-yard touchdown run. So at that point, I was like, okay, maybe we're going to try to get back into this. If we just keep playing like that, then maybe we might have a shot at coming back here. But that was not to be. And so with 2 minutes and 42 seconds to go in the third quarter, this is where things get kind of disheartening again. Anthony Tice the third, he got rolled up on a play where his foot got caught under a Redhawks defender, and it was an injury. It was a typical roll up injury around the foot area, and I don't think it was a horrific, terrible kind of injury, but it was definitely enough to knock Tyus out of the game. So that was another blow for the Bobcats. And if I can make a note about that, though, the previous week at Central Michigan, Anthony Tice the third, he got accidentally rolled up by his own offensive lineman, and he could have like almost got injured there last week. So he's been getting banged up quite a bit these last few games. And I'm hoping the Bobcats coaching staff takes note of that going forward. If they're going to keep using Anthony Tice III, you got to give him a break. You got to give Anthony Tice III a break when you know he's not running at full blast, when you know he's not seeing the holes as well as he did early on in the season. You got to give him a break. You can't keep going to him every 5 seconds. And that's why I kept saying you got to utilize Ricky Hunt Jr. You got to utilize your other running backs. You can't just put everything on Anthony Tice III and expect everything to go. That's just where I'm coming from with that. So yeah, when I saw Anthony Tice III go down with that injury, I was like, really, really, you know. So yeah, minute 47 to go in the third quarter. Keon Mosey again for the Redhawks. He broke out a 58-yard touchdown run. That really put us in a hole there. Made it 23-6 Miami of Ohio, and still very late in the third quarter, 50 seconds to go. Parker Navarro, he threw another interception, and like right after that interception, Brett Gabbert went right to work. He threw a 28-yard touchdown pass to Cade McDonald. That made it 30-6 Miami of Ohio. And so after 3 quarters, the score is 30-6 Miami of Ohio. They're up they're up by 3 scores at least. 24 points. And I'm not gonna lie to you guys, a big part of this felt like it could have easily become something like that Kentucky game. And that was not the kind of feeling that you would need if you're going to get into an important game like this where it's a rivalry game. Um, I got some thoughts about that here in a couple minutes. But yeah, fourth quarter, let's just get through this. Fourth quarter, 5 minutes, 58 seconds to go. A name I've not mentioned at all this year from the running back room, Nolan McCormick. You may have heard about him earlier when I was going through Know the Bobcat series some time ago. Nolan McCormick, he finally makes an appearance here. He punched it in, 1-yard touchdown run. There we go. And then Caleb Gossett, he caught a short 2-yard pass to convert a 2-point conversion. That made it 30-14. And at that point, we switched out from Parker Navarro to Nick Polos. I accidentally said his last name wrong. Polos, tomato, whatever. But yeah, 30-14. Bobcats still in a hole, 16 points down. I mean, it was at this point where it's like, okay, the Bobcats are trying to do some things. They're trying to execute some plays. They're trying to make headway here, but the timing of it was just off. It was just too little, too late at that point. I was like, okay, Bobcats, you're making some plays, good, but time is against you. And I just don't think the Bobcats had a good enough grasp of what was going on around them and the timing of it all. It was off. I'm just gonna be honest, it was off. So, yeah, and later on in the 4th quarter, what was it, like yeah, very late in the 4th quarter, again, the timing of it. Nick Polos, broke out a 20-yard touchdown run, and of course, we had to go for it again, go for 2 points again right after that. Try to make it an 8-point game, did not do it. We cut it to 10 points, 30-20, but that was it. Way too late to come up with any kind of comeback. So yeah, that was it. That's all she wrote for that. 30-20, Miami Redhawks win. They win back-to-back meetings of the Battle of the Bricks, and that's that. So just a couple of points that I want to make here before I go here. Um, it was just one of those games, guys. I mean, we did do some good things. I do believe we did some positive things in this game, but the timing of it was just not right. And if I can say something real fast, 5 minutes, 25 seconds to go in the first quarter. This thing, I know it's early in the game, but it really bothered me. This play calling in general. The first quarter play calling just really did not sit well with me. We had a 3rd down and 1 yard to go situation in our own territory, mind you, but it was 3rd down and 1 yard to go, and we call a pass play. Now let that sink in. So far this year, we've been a run first team. Our bread and butter has to be in the running game. We establish the run first, and then we open up the pass later. 3rd down and 1, that was where you had to go for a running play. And for us to call a pass, that was just mind-boggling. Really, I did not agree with that play calling whatsoever there. And that was just one example of many that I could use in this game. You can go back, watch the game, and you'll see what I see. Some of the play calling decisions that we made in general, wherever we were on the field, some of the play calling decisions we made were just not good. I'm being honest, not good. It just further illustrated to me that we did not have a proper grasp on what was going on around us, the situation involved in this game. This is a rivalry game. This is our arch rival, so to speak, in the Battle of the Bricks, and this is what we do. Really, I'm left speechless. This is what we do. This is how we treat such a game, a rivalry game. I normally I normally don't give coaching staffs a hard time. I don't. And I trust head coach Tim Albin to do the right thing. Okay. But this game plan was not right. I'm going to flat out say it. It was not right. And there's something that needs to be adjusted here when it comes to play calling, not just mentality, but having a true understanding of what's going on. Something's got to change here because games like this cannot be acceptable going forward when you're calling plays. Just can't do it, guys. In Miami, they generally go up tempo. They dictate the pace of the game. When they want to speed up the pace, they did here definitely in this game. Miami of Ohio did what they did. They were allowed to do what they did. So they got the ball out quickly. That's one of the things Brett Gabbert does well as quarterback. He gets the ball out quickly. Yeah, Miami of Ohio they executed their game plan. They knew what they wanted to do. Sometimes it felt like the Bobcats had no idea what they wanted to do in comparison. And that may sound harsh, but that's just how I feel. We were not ready. In some aspects, we were just not ready to handle this kind of atmosphere. And I know that we have like a bunch of new players coming in, 58 new players because of transfers and graduations and stuff like that. But again, it is what it is. And early on, Miami of Ohio was really playing a game of field position. They pinned us down and deep in our own territory quite a bit. few times. They easily won the field position battle, and it was just off to the races from there. When you give Miami of Ohio great field position, like at their own 45-yard line or something like that, it's pretty easy to see them march down the field and score points, even if it's just a field goal. Certain things like that. That's why I say that I don't think our team had a good enough grasp of the situation, what was going on. Um, in other points here, I think we lacked intensity, especially in the first half. I just think the Bobcats lacked intensity. They lacked that that fight. When you're in a rivalry game like this, you got to have a fight in you. You got to have the extra juices going, and it just wasn't there. Especially in this kind of game, Battle of the Bricks. I'm sorry, the intensity was not there. We were lacking intensity in the first half. We did pick it up a little bit in the second half, but again, it was too late. Once we got going scoring points, it was too late. And that's a timing issue. That's a miscommunication kind of issue. And I hope it gets fixed as we go along here in this season, because we have a couple of tough games going forward in this regular season, some of which I'm not sure of right now if we're going to get through. If we don't fix certain issues, such as what I just mentioned here in this stream, we are still going to have a long season. And it just, some of it is just, it really just, it sucks. I'm being honest, it sucks. Um, Anthony Tice the third going down with injury, like I said, that was hard to watch. And I hope he's okay. I hope he's not going to be out for too long, if at all. And we have to utilize Ricky Hunt Jr. anyway. We got to get him going. He needs to see the field. Okay. He needs to be out there. He needs to be making plays. We need to give him the ball. Duncan Brune, let's get him out there. Let's give them reps in the backfield. Okay. Until whenever Anthony Tice is ready to come back. We need to utilize all of our running backs, not just one. And I'm not saying running back by committee, because I think all of our running backs are capable of having good games. But we need to spread it out more between multiple running backs if we're going to have success here. So that just came to light here in this game. We were not utilizing enough running backs in our game plan, and some of our wide receivers were dropping balls, dropping passes, and Parker Navarro throwing 2 interceptions that didn't help. But some of it you have to give credit to the opponent. You have to give credit to Miami of Ohio. They did what they had to do. Can't fault them for it. So, yeah, 30-20, 10-point loss. It felt more like a 10-point loss. It was a 10-point loss that felt more like a 20 or more point loss, to be honest with you guys. But it could have been worse. I know, could have been worse. But yeah, that's just, it is what it is. So, Battle of the Bricks, congratulations, Miami of Ohio. Hopefully we get you guys next time. But yeah, moving on to next week. Now we're 4-3, 2-1 in MAC conference play. We still have it ahead of us to get the conference championship. Next week, we're going to come back home to Athens to Frank Solich Field, and we're going to be hosting the Buffalo Bulls. Buffalo Bulls, they're on the top of the MAC standings, second place. They're 4-3, 2-1 in MAC play, and that's going to be really an important game again. So the Bobcats, we had better get more focus going forward. Whatever we got to fix, we got to fix. We got to find ways to fix it. Take your time and practice to really address those issues. So that's all I got to say. Again, 30-20, tough loss. Not the worst loss, but a tough loss nonetheless. So yeah, if you guys watch this game by any chance, let me know in the comment section below. And yeah, we're just gonna have to learn from this. So yeah, hope you guys have a good day, good night, whenever you're watching this, and I'll be sure to talk to you guys again soon. Take care. Bye.